Epstein did not kill himself. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the breaking news right now. I don't know how the heck you say her name. Ghislaine Maxwell convicted in Epstein sex abuse case. So I only know what I've been following on this because of the watching Joe over at Good Logic. I have not paid attention because honestly I really thought she'd get off. The prosecuting attorney for the feds is what's his first name? The FBI guy, Comey. Comey's daughter was the prosecutor in this. Anyway, the British socialite Ghislaine Maxwell was convicted Wednesday of luring teenage girls to be sexually abused by the American millionaire Jeffrey Epstein. This is a guy, just real quick on this, like we all know the whole Epstein did not kill himself meme, all that stuff. Okay, but something we do know is fact. The guy was rich. He was a school teacher, and then he bought a jet and a island in the Virgin Islands. Unique, isn't it? And yeah, I don't know how he went from A to C. I don't know where B. I don't know how he got his wealth. But anyway, the verdict kept a month-long trial featuring sordid accounts of the sexual exploitation as girls as young as 14, told by 4 women who were described being abused as teens in the 90s and early 2000s as Epstein's palatial homes in Florida, New York, and New Mexico. New Mexico? Who impresses a chick with a house in New Mexico? Is there something I'm missing here? I've never been to New Mexico. I'd like to go, and I'd like to have the red chili and the green chili and see which one I like best. But I've never thought about taking a chick to New Mexico to impress. Even though I imagine there's some hot chicks in New Mexico. So maybe that's it. I don't know. Jurors deliberated for 5 full days. Man, that's longer than OJ, right? Before finding 5 days, man. That's a long time. That break was brought to you by Dr. Pepper. Finding Maxwell guilty of 5 of 6 counts. As the verdict was read, Maxwell was largely stoic behind a black mask. She stood with her hands folded as the jury filed out and glanced at her siblings, who faithfully attended each day of the trial, as she herself was led from the courtroom. She did not hug her lawyers on the way out. Really? I mean... She's probably social distancing, right? She did not hug her lawyers. Have you ever hugged a lawyer? Oh, they're scaly. I can say it because I am one. She did, on the way out, a marked change from previous days during which Maxwell and her team were often physically affectionate with one another. I mean, they made that sound like she was giving handies underneath the table. They're physically affectionate with one another? Jeez. She faced the likelihood of years in prison, an outcome long sought by women who spent years fighting in civil courts to hold Maxwell accountable for her role in recruiting and grooming. This whole, grooming and recruiting, this stuff, fairly new lingo, right? Within, maybe last couple of years, you started hearing this sort of stuff. I don't know. It's like, there's something going on with all this stuff. It just really, really bugs me. Maxwell was convicted of conspiracy to entice a minor to travel to engage in an illegal sex acts. What does the government consider illegal sex acts? I mean, Bill Clinton didn't have any illegal sex acts. Conspiracy to, as well, a minor to intent to engage in criminal sexual activity. Again, I know what this stuff is, okay? I'm joking around with this because it's funny. Whenever I see the word sexual or sex, the first thing you think of is funny. But then you realize it's really deprived and evil and sicko stuff. It's disgusting. Some of the stuff these weirdos do. And we let them walk around like nothing's wrong. Transport a minor with the intent to engage in criminal sexual activity, conspiracy to commit sex trafficking of a minor, and sex trafficking of minors, the last of which carries a statutory maximum of 40 years in prison. She was acquitted of enticing a minor to travel to engage in illegal sex acts. How do you get acquitted of that? But everything else guilty. The defense had insisted Maxwell was a victim of a vindictive prosecution devised to deliver justice to women deprived of their main villain when Epstein killed himself while awaiting trial in 2019. That's a pretty solid argument. Whether or not there's any proof to it, during the trial, prosecutors called 24 witnesses to give jurors a picture of life inside Epstein's homes, a subject of public fascination and speculation ever since his 2006 arrest in Florida in a child sex case. The housekeeper testified he was expected to be blind, deaf, and dumb about the private lives of Epstein, a financier, I can't even pronounce that, who cultivated friendships with influential politicians and business tycoons, and Maxwell, who had led a jet-setting lifestyle as the favorite child of a media mogul. Who's her media mogul father or mother? Pilots took the witness stand and dropped the names of luminaries Britain's Prince Andrew, Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, who flew on Epstein's private jets. Now, before you get into this, I want to say clearly about the Donald Trump one. He flew from Florida to New York. There's nothing hanky or anything else going on the plane. He admits to it. He said everything that happened. He said it was one flight. He said he never did it again because Epstein was weird. But everybody wants to put that he was like some cretin. And like that excuses. Okay, let's say if Donald Trump was a cretin, right? So that excuses Bill Clinton and Prince Andrew, according to these creepos that defend this stuff. Jurors saw physical evidence like a folding massage table once used by Epstein. A folding massage table. I'm surprised I don't have one. That does not seem like evidence to me. And a black book that listed contact information for some of the victims under the heading massages. Well, I mean, you're not saying they're doing anything illegal so far. There were bank records showing he had transferred $30 million to Maxwell, his longtime companion, one-time girlfriend, later employee. But the core of the prosecution was the testimony of 4 women who said they were victimized by Maxwell and Epstein at tender ages. 3 testified using first names or pseudonyms to protect their privacy. Jane, a television actress. Kate, a former model from Great Britain. And Carolyn, now a mom recovered from drug addiction. The 4th was Annie Farmer, a psychologist who chose to use a real name after being vocal about her allegations in recent years. They echoed one another in their descriptions of Maxwell's behavior. She used charm and gifts to gain their trust, taking an interest in their adolescent challenges. But where do you find this? Where do you find these chicks still? And giving them assurances that Epstein could use his wealth and connections to fulfill their dreams. I mean, they're not just like on the street corners, right? And this just opens up more questions for me. This is so... I don't get it. I don't get it. You know what it is? It's parents. Parents are selling their kids, man. They said the script would darken when Maxwell coaxed them into giving massages to Epstein that turned sexual. Encounters she played off as normal. After one sexual massage, Kate, then 17, said Maxwell asked her if she had fun and told her, "You're such a good girl." Well, I say that to my coonhound all the time. Carolyn testified that she was one of several underprivileged teens who lived near Epstein's Florida home. But how are you an underprivileged teen living next to a multi-million-dollar mansion? Do you see where I have a problem here? I don't have all this is sicko weird stuff. What my problem is how do I become an underprivileged teen living next door to a multi-million-dollar mansion? I mean, this is just absurd. You've got to tell me, how is this a phenomenon that I don't know about? I'm blissfully unaware of all the teenagers hanging out in South Florida in these multi-million-dollar neighborhoods. I had a horrible childhood, I just realized. Carolyn testified that she was one of several underprivileged. Yeah. And took him an offer to give massages in exchange for $100 bills. No, it's specific, $100 bills, which prosecutors described as a pyramid of abuse. I'm not getting the pyramid of abuse there. Man, when I was in high school, that was like what you did. You said, "Oh man, I hurt so bad over here. Would you mind rubbing this?" Rubbing this was literally, like massage your shoulders. I didn't pay for any of it. That's the whole key. Pay for it, you get in trouble. Maxwell made all the arrangements, Carolyn told the jury, even though she knew the girl was only 14 at the time. I mean, that's weird. It's creepy weird. I mean, I don't understand these people that are into these young chicks and stuff, man. That's just weird. Like somebody said one time, you ever talked to a teenager? Chain said in 1994, when she was only 14, she was instructed to follow Epstein into a pool house in his Palm Beach estate where he masturbated on her. That is the exact same thing that Harvey Weinstein supposedly did on a plant. The lone count on which Maxwell was acquitted, enticing a minor to trial to engage in illegal sex acts, applied only to Jane. So Maxwell was acquitted of masturbation on this girl. Golly, man, this is a circus of weird shit. I was frozen in fear, she told the jury, adding that assault was the first time she had ever seen a penis. Wait a second. You're flying internationally, is this right? At this point? Palm Beach Estate. Okay. So, you're homeless or underprivileged, 14, and you've never seen... Underprivileged, she did not have the internet. Oh my gosh. The last to testify, Farmer described how Maxwell touched her breast while giving her a massage at Epstein's New Mexico ranch and how Epstein unexpectedly crawled into bed and pressed himself against her. Maxwell, 60, vehemently denied the charges through her lawyers. Still, she declined to take the risk of testifying, telling the judge, "The government has not proven this case beyond a reasonable doubt, so there's no reason for me to testify." Yeah, you never testify. That's stupid to testify, because then you can impeach yourself over the stupidest little stuff there is. These lawyers they're like, when you say I will testify, it is throwing chum in the water. That's all it is. The charges against Ghislaine Maxwell are for things that Jeffrey Epstein did. One of Maxwell's lawyers, Bobby Sternum, that sounds familiar, Bobby Sternum. It was nice to the jury, but she is not Jeffrey Epstein, and she is not like Jeffrey Epstein. Maxwell's legal team questioned whether the accuser's memories are faulty or had been influenced by lawyers seeking big payouts from Maxwell and from Epstein's estate in civil court. During their 2-day presentation, they called as a witness Elizabeth Loftus, a University of California Irvine professor who has testified as a memory expert. Oh, jeez. Including the rape trial of movie mogul Harvey Weinstein. There you go. She said memory can be contaminated by suggestions made by an interviewer, particularly law enforcement or the media. That's true. Maxwell's family, faithfully in attendance each day of the trial, complained she was under duress from harsh conditions at the Brooklyn jail, where she had been since her arrest in July 2020. She repeatedly and futilely sought bail, arguing that she was unable to adequately contribute to her defense. That's probably true as well. The legal fights involving Epstein and Maxwell are not over. Maxwell still awaits trial on 2 counts of perjury. Now, that's what I'm interested in. What was her perjury? See, the lawsuits involving the abuse allegations also continue, including one in which a woman got not involved in the trial, Virginia Frey, says she was coerced into sexual encounters with Prince Andrew when she was 17. Andrew has denied her account, and that lawsuit is not expected to come to trial for many months. I bet you Prince Andrew dies unexpectedly. So anyway, hey, she's not bad for 60. Better looking than Madonna. There you go. She's been convicted of pimping hoes. Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't call the girls hoes. But if they were hoes, Maxine, is that her name? No, Ghislaine Maxwell. Maxwell Smart. She would be a pimp. Pimping ain't easy and ain't a good thing to be called. So anyway, there you go. She has been convicted. Jeffrey Epstein is still dead. And the world continues to spin. We get nothing new out of this. Everybody thought there was going to be like all this stuff come out and everything else. And I haven't heard anything. I don't care about anything, I guess. Maybe that's it. There's too much stuff going on in the world. Too much Satan claws running around. So don't forget, your one job is to hit that subscribe button. And remember, I love you guys. Until later, peace out.